The bright lights of the Galactic trade station hurt Tom Wilson's eyes as he walked through the busy corridors. Aliens of all shapes and sizes moved past him, their strange voices filling the air with clicks, whistles, and sounds he couldn't understand. Some looked like giant insects with too many legs. Others had blue skin that seemed to glow. A few looked almost human, but with ears that were way too long. Tom carried a data pad in his hands. The numbers on it told a story he didn't want to. Read. Human cargo ships were losing contracts every month. The alien companies were faster, cheaper, and better at everything. His own ship, the Iron Horse, was docked at the station's outer ring. It was old, ugly, and slow compared to the sleek alien vessels that looked more like art than machines. "Hey, human!" a voice called out behind him. Tom turned around to see a tall alien with purple skin and 4 arms. This was Crix, one of the trade representatives from the Zetan Empire. Crix always had something mean to say about human technology. "Still flying that old rust bucket?" Crix asked with a laugh that sounded like metal scraping against metal. "I saw it docked next to our new quantum cruiser. Your ship looks like something we would have built 1,000 years ago." Other aliens nearby started to gather around. Word spread quickly when there was a chance to make fun of the humans. Soon Tom was surrounded by a crowd of beings who all seemed to think human technology was a big joke. "Look at this," said another alien, pointing at Tom's data pad. "They still use chemical rockets for basic transportation. My people stopped using those before we learned to fly. And their computers," added a third alien with green scales. "They're so slow that our children's toys have better processing power." Tom felt his face getting red with anger, but he tried to stay calm. Getting into a fight wouldn't help anything. Humans had learned long ago that they were considered the weakest race in the galaxy. Every other species had faster ships, better weapons, and more advanced technology. "The shipping contract for the Vega run is still open," Tom said, trying to change the subject. "Any ship can bid on it." This made the aliens laugh even harder. "You want to bid against us?" Crix asked. "Human, your fastest cargo ship would take 3 weeks to make that run. Our slowest transport can do it in 4 days. Why would anyone hire you?" "Maybe because we get the job done," Tom replied. "Getting the job done slowly doesn't count," said a new voice. Everyone turned to see Admiral Nex approaching. She was from the Centauri Federation, one of the most powerful alien governments in the galaxy. Her blue skin seemed to shimmer as she walked, and her silver hair moved like liquid metal. When Admiral Nex spoke, other aliens listened. "The Vega mining colonies need their supplies delivered quickly," she continued. "Time is money, as you humans like to say. Your ships are simply too primitive to compete in modern space commerce." "Our ships are reliable," Tom said. "Reliable and slow," Nex replied with a cold smile. "The galaxy has moved beyond the need for your quaint technology." Tom looked around at all the alien faces staring at him. Some seemed amused, others looked bored, but none showed any respect. To them, humans were like children playing with broken toys. "What if we proved you wrong?" Tom asked suddenly. The crowd went quiet. "What do you mean?" Admiral Nex asked. "A race," Tom said, the idea forming in his mind as he spoke. "The Vega run, your fastest ship against ours. Same cargo, same destination. Winner takes the contract and the loser stays out of that shipping lane for a year." The aliens looked at each other in surprise. Then they started laughing again, but this time it was different. This wasn't just amusement, it was the sound of predators who had just been offered an easy meal. "You want to race against Centauri? Technology?" Admiral Nex asked. "Human, do you understand what you're suggesting? Our quantum ships can bend space itself. Your chemical rockets are like trying to race a snail against a lightning bolt. Are you accepting the challenge or not?" Tom asked. Admiral Nex's eyes narrowed. "Very well. The Star Dancer is our newest courier ship. It will depart tomorrow at noon, Standard Galactic Time. Try not to embarrass yourself too badly." As the crowd began to break up, Tom heard dozens of conversations starting about the upcoming race. The aliens were already making bets, and none of them were betting on the humans. Some were discussing what they would do with the shipping lane once the humans were forced out of it. Tom made his way back to the Iron Horse, feeling like he had just made the biggest mistake of his life. The ship really did look old and ugly, compared to everything else in the docking bay. Its hull was covered with patches and repairs from years of hard use. The engines were held together with spare parts and hope, but as Tom walked up the loading ramp, he noticed something the aliens hadn't. Hidden among all the obvious repairs and patches were some modifications that weren't in any official records. Small changes that no one would notice unless they knew what to look for. "Captain?" called out his engineer, Max Chen, as Tom entered the ship. "I heard about your challenge. Are we really going to race against the Centauri?" "Looks like it," Tom replied. "How are our special systems?" Max grinned. "All ready, sir. The conversion protocols are installed and tested. Though I have to ask, are we really going to show them everything?" "Not everything," Tom said. "Just enough to win." As night fell over the trade station, Tom sat in his quarters looking out at the stars. Tomorrow, the galaxy would learn something it had forgotten over the years of treating humans like second-class citizens. They would learn that sometimes the slow, ugly, reliable ship had more tricks than anyone expected. The Iron Horse might look like a piece of junk, but it was about to prove that appearances could be very deceiving. The aliens had been so busy laughing at human technology that they had stopped paying attention to what humans were actually building. Tomorrow would change everything. The cargo bay of the Iron Horse smelled like metal and machine oil. Workers in heavy suits moved containers around with loud mechanical arms, while Tom Wilson watched from the upper walkway. Each box contained supplies for the Vega mining colonies. Medical equipment, food packages, and replacement parts for their drilling machines. It was the same kind of cargo run that human ships had been doing for 20 years. "Final weight check complete," called out Sarah Kim, the ship's cargo officer. She was young but smart, and she knew how to pack a ship better than anyone Tom had ever met. 200 tons total, all secured according to safety rules. Tom nodded, but he wasn't really thinking about the cargo. He was thinking about the modifications hidden beneath the ship's deck plating. To anyone watching, the Iron Horse looked like exactly what it was supposed to be. An old cargo ship held together with repairs and determination. Only 5 people on board knew the truth about what the ship could really do. "Sarah," Tom said, quietly. "How long until the conversion is ready?" "About 10 minutes once we start the sequence," she replied. "The hull plating will reshape itself and the hidden engines will come online. But Captain, once we do this, there's no going back. Every alien government in the galaxy will know that humans have been hiding advanced technology." Tom understood what she meant. For decades, humans had pretended to struggle with basic space travel, while secretly developing systems that would shock the galaxy. It was a dangerous game, but one that had allowed humanity to prepare for this moment. Across the station, Admiral Nex was making her own preparations aboard the Star Dancer. The Centauri ship was beautiful in a way that hurt to look at, all flowing curves and surfaces that seemed to bend light around them. Its quantum tunnel drive could tear holes in space itself, allowing it to travel distances in hours that would take other ships days. "Status report," Admiral Nex commanded as she walked through the Star Dancer's command center. "All systems are perfect," replied her navigation officer, a tall Centauri with the typical blue skin and silver hair of his people. "The quantum coils are charged, and the tunnel matrix is stable. We could leave right now if needed." Admiral Nex looked at the tactical display showing both ships. The human vessel looked exactly like what everyone expected: crude, simple, and pathetically slow. The idea that it could compete with Centauri engineering was almost insulting. "Have you calculated how badly we'll beat them?" she asked. "Even if everything goes wrong for us, we'll still reach Vega at least 20 hours before the human ship arrives. More likely, we'll be there a full day ahead of them." Admiral Nex smiled with satisfaction. This race would prove once and for all that humans belonged at the bottom of the galactic hierarchy. Perhaps after this humiliation, they would finally accept their proper place as servants to their betters. Back on the Iron Horse, Tom was meeting with his senior staff in what looked like a normal conference room. The table was old and scratched, the chairs were mismatched, and the display screen had a crack running down one side. But hidden behind the walls were systems that would have impressed the best alien engineers. "Let me make sure I understand. The plan," said Dr. Lisa Park, the ship's science officer. She was one of the few people who knew about humanity's secret research programs. We start the race looking like a normal cargo ship, then gradually reveal our true capabilities as we get closer to Vega. That's right, Tom confirmed. Phase 1 gets us to competitive speed without attracting too much attention. Phase 2 shows them we're faster than they think. Phase 3, he paused. Phase 3 depends on how much we want to scare them. Engineer Max Chen leaned forward. Captain, our quantum displacement drive can push us to speeds that shouldn't be possible. If we use full power, we'll be faster than anything else in the galaxy. But that will raise questions about how humans develop such technology without anyone noticing. Tom had been thinking about this problem for weeks. Revealing too much too fast could make humanity look like a threat rather than just a competitor. But revealing too little might not be enough to change how aliens treated his people. We'll take it step by step, he decided. Show them enough to win the race and earn some respect, but keep our biggest secrets in reserve. Dr. Park activated a hidden panel in the conference table, and the room was suddenly filled with holographic displays showing the ship's true specifications. The Iron Horse wasn't just faster than the aliens thought. It was an entirely different class of vessel disguised to look primitive. The adaptive hull system is ready, she reported. Once activated, the ship will reconfigure itself for maximum speed and efficiency. The stealth systems will keep us hidden from long-range sensors until we're ready to reveal ourselves. And the quantum displacement drive? Tom asked. Fully charged and tested, Max replied. We can maintain 800 times light speed indefinitely, or push to over 1,000 times light speed for short periods. The Centauri ship's maximum speed is about 850 times light speed, so we have the advantage if we need it. Tom looked around the table at his crew. They were all volunteers for this mission, and they all understood what was at stake. If they succeeded, humanity would finally be taken seriously by the galactic community. If they failed, humans might be banned from space commerce entirely. Any final concerns? He asked. Just one, Sarah said. What happens after we win? The aliens won't just accept defeat and move on. They'll want to know how we did it, and they'll want to make sure we can't do it again. Tom had thought about this too. Winning the race was only the first step in a much larger plan. Let them ask questions, he said. It's time the galaxy learned that humans aren't as primitive as everyone thinks. We've been playing the role of the weak, backward species for too long. Maybe it's time to show our true strength. The meeting broke up, and Tom made his way to the ship's hidden command center. From the outside, it looked like a storage room filled with spare parts and cleaning supplies. But behind a concealed door was a military-grade bridge that would have been at home on a warship. Advanced displays showed the locations of every ship in the system. The Star Dancer was preparing for departure, its crew confident in their easy victory. Dozens of other alien vessels were positioning themselves to watch the race, most of them placing bets on how badly the humans would lose. Tom activated the secure communication system and sent a coded message to Earth. Within minutes, he received a reply from Admiral Roberts, the head of Earth's secret space program. Good luck, Captain, the message said. The entire human race is watching. Show them what we're really capable of. Tom closed the channel and looked out at the stars through the command center's armored windows. Tomorrow, everything would change. The galaxy had spent so long laughing at human technology that they had stopped paying attention to what humans were actually building. The Iron Horse might look like a rust bucket, but it was about to become the most famous ship in galactic history. The age of alien superiority was about to end, and humanity's rise to power was about to begin. But first, they had to survive what was coming next. The Star Dancer left the trade station in a display of light and power that made everyone stop and stare. Its quantum tunnel drive created ripples in space itself, causing nearby ships to shake and their sensors to overload with exotic energy readings. Admiral Nex had timed the departure perfectly, right when the station's main viewing areas were most crowded. Current speed? She asked as the beautiful Centauri ship accelerated away from the station. 600 times light speed, and climbing, reported her helmsman. All systems running perfectly. We should reach our cruising speed of 750 times light speed within the hour. Admiral Nex settled into her command chair, enjoying the feeling of power that came from commanding such advanced technology. The human ship would be lucky to reach 200 times light speed, and even that would probably strain their primitive engines to the breaking point. "Any sign of the human vessel?" she asked. Her sensor officer shook his head. "Long-range scanners show the Iron Horse still docked at the station. They haven't even started their departure sequence yet." Admiral Nex allowed herself a satisfied smile. The humans were probably still trying to get their old engines started while her ship raced toward an easy victory. But 30 minutes later, things began to change. "Admiral," the sensor officer called out, his voice carrying a note of confusion. "I'm detecting unusual energy signatures from the direction of the trade station." "What kind of signatures?" "It's difficult to identify. The readings are unlike anything in our databases. Whatever is generating them appears to be accelerating at an impossible rate." Admiral Nex frowned. "Show me." The main display shifted to show a tactical view of local space. A new contact had appeared on the plot, moving away from the station at incredible speed. "Current velocity of the unknown contact?" she demanded. 400 times light speed and still accelerating. "Admiral, at this rate, it will overtake us within 6 hours." A cold feeling spread through Admiral Nex's chest. Only a few civilizations in the galaxy possessed technology capable of such speeds, and none of them had any reason to be in this sector. Could it be a draconian warship? Negative. The quantum signature doesn't match any known draconian technology. In fact, it doesn't match any known technology at all. Admiral Nex stared at the display as the mysterious contact continued to gain speed. A terrible thought was beginning to form in her mind. What is the current status of the human cargo ship? Her communications officer checked his instruments. According to station traffic control, the Iron Horse is still conducting final preparations for departure. They estimate another 2 hours before the humans are ready to leave. But even as he spoke, the mysterious contact on their sensors was approaching 500 times light speed. Whatever it was moving faster than most military vessels. 40 light years behind them, the truth was very different from what the aliens believed. The Iron Horse had been transformed. What had once looked like an ugly cargo ship now resembled something from humanity's darkest military secrets. The hull had reshaped itself into flowing curves designed for maximum efficiency. Hidden weapon ports remained sealed, but the ship's entire profile had changed from crude transport to advanced warship. "Transformation complete," announced Max Chen from his position at the engineering station. "All stealth systems are active. To anyone watching, we still appear to be docked at the station conducting routine maintenance." Tom Wilson stood in the ship's real command center, watching displays that showed their true position and speed. They had been traveling for over an hour at velocities that would have shocked every alien government in the galaxy. "Current position?" he asked. 38 light years from the station," replied Navigator Emma Torres. "Current speed is 520 times light speed and still increasing. We're ahead of our projected timeline." Tom nodded, but his attention was focused on the tactical display showing the Centauri ship. The Star Dancer was maintaining its course toward Vega, completely unaware that they were being hunted by a ship they had dismissed as primitive junk. "How long until we overtake them?" "At current acceleration rates, we'll be in optimal position in 3 hours and 40 minutes, Emma replied. "Should we maintain stealth protocols?" Tom considered the question carefully. The original plan had been simple: win the race and prove that human technology was more advanced than anyone realized. But the more he thought about it, the more he realized this was an opportunity for something much bigger. For too long, humans had been treated like children by the galactic community. Other species made all the important decisions while humans were expected to accept whatever scraps they were offered. This race could change that dynamic forever. Maintain stealth for now, he decided. But prepare for full revelation when we make our final approach. Dr. Park's voice came over the intercom from her position in the science lab. "Captain, I'm monitoring the Centauri ship's quantum signatures. They're pushing their drive systems harder than their specifications suggest." How? Much harder? They're currently maintaining 760 times light speed, close to their theoretical maximum. Either they're taking this race more seriously than we expected, or they're trying to set a record that will discourage future challenges from humans. Tom smiled grimly. The Centauri were making the same mistake that most advanced civilizations made when dealing with humans. They assumed that superior technology automatically guaranteed victory. They had never learned the most important lesson about humanity. When humans were pushed too far, they didn't just fight back, they fought smart. All stations prepare for Phase 2 acceleration, he announced. Max, what's our maximum sustainable speed? The engineer's voice carried barely controlled excitement. Under current conditions, Captain, we can safely maintain 800 and 50 times light speed for extended periods. If we push the quantum displacement drive to its theoretical limits, we could achieve over 1,000 times light speed for short bursts. The command center fell silent. Even for a crew trained on classified technology, those numbers were impressive. The Iron Horse wasn't just competitive with alien technology, it was potentially superior to everything else in the galaxy. Captain, Emma said quietly, if we reveal capabilities like that, it's going to raise serious questions about human technology development. The other species will want to know how we built quantum displacement drives without their knowledge or assistance. Let them ask questions, Tom replied. It's time they learned that humans don't need their permission to advance. On the main display, a new tactical plot appeared showing both vessels and their projected courses. The Star Dancer continued toward Vega, its crew still confident in their easy victory. But closing fast behind them was a ship that represented everything the aliens didn't know about human engineering. Sir, the communications officer announced, we're receiving automated status updates from vessels throughout the sector. News of the race has spread through the shipping networks. There are over 40 alien ships adjusting their courses to observe our arrival at Vega. Tom nodded. The galaxy's attention was focused on this race, which meant their victory, when it came, would be witnessed by representatives from every major civilization. The political implications would be enormous. Very well. All hands, prepare for maximum acceleration. It's time to teach the galaxy what happens when you underestimate humanity. The Iron Horse surged forward as its quantum displacement drive reached full power. Space-time bent around the ship's hull as it began closing the distance with its unsuspecting target. The hunt had begun, and the outcome would change humanity's place in the universe forever. Admiral Nex was studying cargo reports when her sensor officer's urgent voice cut through the quiet efficiency of the Star Dancer's bridge. Admiral, the unknown contact is now clearly visible on our long-range sensors. She looked up from her datapad, irritated at being interrupted. They were making excellent time toward the Vega colonies, and she had been composing her victory message to send back to Centauri High Command. What exactly are you seeing? The contact is now traveling at 790 times light speed and still accelerating. Admiral, whatever that ship is, it's going to overtake us within 2 hours. Admiral Nex felt her blue skin grow cold. That's impossible. Show me everything. The main display changed to show a detailed tactical view of the surrounding space. The unknown contact appeared as a pulsing red dot that was clearly violating multiple laws of physics as the Centauri understood them. Current estimated speed? She demanded. 810 times light speed as of our last sensor sweep. Admiral, it's still gaining velocity. Nex stared at the display in growing horror. Only the most advanced civilizations possess technology capable of such speeds, and most of those were theoretical rather than practical. Could it be a military vessel from the core worlds? Negative, Admiral. The quantum signature is completely unknown. It's almost like... The sensor officer paused, his pale blue features darkening with concentration. Admiral, the energy pattern matches theoretical human quantum mechanics, but that should be impossible. Why impossible? Because humans barely understand basic space travel, much less quantum displacement theory. Their fastest ships can't even reach 300 times light speed. Admiral Nex studied the tactical display as the mysterious contact continued its impossible approach. A sick feeling was growing in her stomach. "Contact the trade station," she ordered. "I want immediate confirmation of the Iron Horse's current location." The communication came through within moments, showing the tired face of a station traffic controller. "Stardancer, our sensors show the human cargo vessel still conducting final system checks. They haven't moved from their docking port." Admiral Nex closed the channel and turned back to her displays. If the station was correct, then the approaching ship couldn't be the human vessel. But if the station was wrong, if humans had technology that could fool their sensors, then everything she believed about galactic civilization was about to change. "All power to engines," she commanded. "I want maximum sustainable speed immediately." "Admiral, that will push our quantum tunnel drive beyond safe operational limits." "Do it anyway." The Stardancer leaped forward like a frightened animal as its quantum coils reached dangerous energy levels. But even as they accelerated to nearly 900 times light speed, the unknown contact continued to gain ground. 20 light-years behind them, the Iron Horse had dropped all pretense of being a simple cargo ship. "They've detected us," Tom Wilson observed calmly as he watched the Centauri vessel's desperate acceleration. "Should we continue stealth protocols?" asked Commander Sarah Kim. "No. It's time for the full revelation. All hands prepare for combat acceleration." Engineer Max Chen's voice crackled over the intercom. "Captain, once we exceed 900 times light speed, there will be no hiding our capabilities from anyone." "That's exactly the point, Max. Bridge to all stations, secure for maximum acceleration." Throughout the ship, automated systems engaged emergency protocols. Cargo containers locked into reinforced positions while inertial dampening fields activated at full power. The Iron Horse had been designed to operate under extreme conditions that would destroy lesser vessels. "All departments report ready," Sarah announced. "Quantum displacement drive standing by for maximum output." Tom activated the ship-wide communication system. "This is the captain. In 60 seconds, we're going to show the galaxy why nobody should ever underestimate human determination." "Hold on." Reality began to bend around the Iron Horse as exotic energies coursed through its hull. The quantum displacement drive created a bubble of altered spacetime that allowed the ship to slip partially outside normal physics. It was technology that shouldn't have existed, built by a species that was supposedly too primitive to understand advanced science. "Current velocity, 950 times light speed," Emma Torres announced from her navigation station. "All systems stable and within normal parameters." On the tactical display, the gap between the two ships began closing at an incredible rate. What had seemed like an impossible lead was becoming a competitive race within minutes. Aboard the Stardancer, panic was beginning to set in. "Admiral, the contact is definitely closing on our position," the sensor officer reported. "Current velocity over 900 times light speed and still increasing." "That can't be right," Admiral Nex whispered. "No known civilization possesses that level of technology." "Admiral," her communications officer interrupted. "We're receiving a transmission from the unknown vessel." "Put it on screen." The main display flickered, and Tom Wilson's face appeared. Behind him, the bridge of the Iron Horse looked nothing like the primitive command center that aliens expected to see from humans. Advanced holographic displays showed tactical information that would have impressed any military commander, while the crew moved with the precision of elite soldiers. "Admiral Nex," Tom said pleasantly, "I hope you're enjoying our little race." The Centauri officer's blue skin had gone almost white. "This is impossible. Human technology cannot achieve these speeds." "Cannot what?" Tom interrupted with a slight smile. "Cannot match Centauri engineering? Cannot compete with your quantum tunnel drives? I'm afraid you've been operating under some incorrect assumptions about human capabilities." "How?" was all Admiral Nex could manage to say. Tom's expression became more serious. "For decades, Admiral, humanity has been underestimated by the galactic community. We've been treated as primitive children playing with toys we don't understand. What you're seeing today is the result of 30 years of humans working in secret to develop technology that surpasses anything currently deployed by galactic civilization." The transmission ended, leaving the Centauri bridge in stunned silence. "Orders." "Admiral," the helmsman asked quietly. Admiral Nex stared at the tactical display, watching as the impossible human ship continued to close the distance. Everything she had been taught about the natural order of the galaxy was crumbling around her. "Emergency power to all drive systems," she ordered finally. "Divert everything, life support, weapons, even emergency reserves." The Star Dancer shuddered, as every available unit of energy flowed into its propulsion system. The ship's elegant curves began to glow with dangerous radiation as quantum coils operated far beyond their design specifications. For a brief moment, their speed increased to over 900 times light speed, but it wasn't enough. The human ship was still gaining ground, and worse yet, automated emergency signals were flooding subspace communication networks. News of the impossible human vessel was spreading throughout the galaxy at the speed of quantum transmission, carried by the same networks that connected every civilized world. In government chambers across 1,000 star systems, alien leaders were receiving reports that challenged everything they thought they knew about human technology. Emergency council sessions were being called. Military fleets were being placed on alert. The galactic balance of power was shifting in real time. Tom Wilson stood in the command center of the Iron Horse, watching as their victory approached. But he knew that winning this race was only the beginning. Once the galaxy learned what humans were really capable of, everything would change. The question was whether humanity was ready for what came next. The Vega mining colonies had never hosted such an important event. Ships from every major civilization in the galaxy had gathered in a massive formation around the system's main shipping beacon. Captains who normally competed for trade routes now worked together to get the best view of what everyone was calling the most significant race in galactic history. Station Commander Jorik floated in his environmental suit next to the beacon's communication array. His species had evolved in zero gravity, making him perfect for managing operations in deep space. But nothing in his long career had prepared him for this moment. "Status report," he requested, his translator converting his species' magnetic field communications into standard galactic language. "The Centauri vessel maintains its lead," his aide reported, "but our sensors are detecting massive space-time distortions approaching from the Kepler direction. Whatever is causing them is moving at speeds that break our understanding of physics." Jorik used his natural ability to sense gravitational fields to feel the approaching ship. His species could detect the subtle ripples in space-time that indicated extreme velocity, and what he was sensing should have been impossible. "How fast is it moving?" "Current estimates suggest over 1,000 times light speed, Commander. The Centauri ship is being overtaken despite running at emergency maximum power." Aboard the Star Dancer, Admiral Nex was beginning to understand that her entire worldview had been built on false assumptions. Her ship was traveling at 890 times light speed, beyond all safety limits, and the human vessel was still gaining ground. "Distance to the finish line?" she asked, trying to keep the desperation out of her voice. 6 light hours, Admiral. But at current rates, the human ship will pass us in 12 minutes. Admiral Nex closed her eyes, feeling the weight of her civilization's reputation on her shoulders. The Centauri had built their entire galactic position on technological superiority. If they lost this race, if humans demonstrated capabilities that exceeded their own, the political consequences would reshape the entire galaxy. "Transfer all remaining power to the quantum tunnel drive," she ordered. "Emergency reserves, life support backup, everything." "Admiral, that could destabilize the entire propulsion matrix. If the drive fails at this velocity, we could be destroyed. If we lose this race, Admiral, destruction might be preferable." The Star Dancer groaned as its quantum coils pushed far beyond their design limits. The ship's beautiful curves began to glow with exotic radiation as space-time bent around its hull. For a few precious moments, their speed increased to nearly 950 times light speed. But it still wasn't enough. The Iron Horse had revealed its true nature at last. The vessel that emerged from stealth looked nothing like the crude cargo hauler that had departed the trade station. Its hull flowed like liquid metal, optimized for maximum efficiency rather than deception. Hidden weapon ports remained sealed, but the ship's real purpose was finally visible. This was humanity's most advanced starship, a fusion of technologies that shouldn't have existed. Current velocity? Tom Wilson asked from his command chair. 1,047 times light speed, Navigator Emma Torres reported. We'll overtake the Centauri vessel in 8 minutes and reach Vega 3 hours ahead of schedule. Tom nodded, but his attention was focused on the dozens of alien ships positioned around the finish line. Every major power in the galaxy was represented, and they were all about to witness humanity's emergence as the dominant technological force in known space. Open a channel to all vessels in the system, he commanded. The main screen shifted to show a wide area broadcast configuration. When Tom spoke, his words would be transmitted instantly across the galaxy through quantum communication networks, reaching every civilized world within hours. This is Captain Tom Wilson of the Earth vessel Iron Horse, he began. To our fellow, spacefaring civilizations, I want you to understand what you're witnessing today. Throughout the galaxy, alien leaders watched their screens as the human ship effortlessly overtook the Centauri vessel and streaked toward the Vega colonies at impossible velocity. For 30 years, humanity has been underestimated, Tom continued. We've been treated as the galaxy's servants, expected to accept whatever terms and conditions other species chose to impose. We've been mocked for our primitive technology and slow ships. Today, that ends. The Iron Horse flashed past the Star Dancer, its exotic wake causing the Centauri ship's quantum coils to overload completely. The race was over, but Tom's message was just beginning. The ship you're observing represents decades of human research and development. While other species assumed we were struggling with basic spaceflight, we were secretly developing quantum displacement drives, adaptive hull, technology, and propulsion systems that exceed anything currently deployed by any known civilization. Station Commander Jorik watched in amazement as the human ship approached the Vega system's navigation beacon. The gravitational distortions it generated were unlike anything he had ever experienced. Time to finish line? He asked his aide. 22 seconds, came the reply. The Centauri vessel won't arrive for another 38 minutes. As the Iron Horse crossed the finish line, something happened that sent shockwaves through every observer. The ship's cargo bay opened to reveal not just the mining supplies and medical equipment listed on the manifest, but dozens of smaller vessels that emerged and began forming a precise military formation around their mothership. Those are escort fighters, whispered the captain of a Draconian observation vessel. The humans turned a cargo delivery into a fleet demonstration. Tom's voice continued to echo across the galaxy as the escort ships activated their targeting systems, painting every alien vessel in the system with weapons locked simultaneously. The message was clear. Humanity wasn't just faster than everyone had believed, they were also far better armed. But this demonstration isn't about proving human superiority over other species, Tom said, his tone becoming more diplomatic. It's about establishing mutual respect and ending the age of condescension. We don't want to dominate the galaxy or claim exclusive territory. We simply want to be treated as equals in the galactic community. Commander Jorik felt his species' natural electromagnetic fields fluctuating with stress as he processed what he was seeing. The human escort ships were using technology he couldn't even begin to understand. Their energy signatures suggested weapons systems that could destroy entire fleets. Sir, his aide whispered, those human fighters are generating power readings that exceed our largest battleships. Tom's final words carried a weight that made every alien commander in the system reconsider their assumptions about human military capabilities. The age of underestimating humanity is over. We invite all civilized species to join us in building a more equitable galactic community. For those who choose cooperation, you'll find us generous allies and fair trading partners. He paused, and the silence stretched across space as weapon systems throughout the human formation powered up to full readiness. For those who prefer the old ways of dominance and exploitation, well, I believe our capabilities speak for themselves. The transmission ended, leaving the galaxy in stunned silence. Within minutes of the broadcast, emergency sessions were being called in every major government. The Galactic Trade Council requested immediate negotiations with Earth's representatives. The Centauri hegemony began reviewing all their territorial claims and trade agreements. The Draconian Confederation quietly started withdrawing their battle, fleets from areas near human space. Admiral Neck sat in her damaged command chair as the Star Dancer limped toward Vega on emergency power. Her quantum drive had completely failed, leaving them dependent on backup systems that would take days to reach their destination. But the physical damage to her ship was nothing compared to the destruction of everything she had believed about galactic civilization. "Admiral," her communications officer said quietly, "we're receiving priority messages from Centauri High Command. They want to know if we require assistance." "Tell them," Admiral Nex replied slowly, "that we require more than assistance. We require a complete reevaluation of our relationship with humanity." Back aboard the Iron Horse, Tom stood at the observation windows watching as the Vega mining colony's automated systems began processing their cargo. The race had been won decisively, but more importantly, humanity had announced its arrival as a major galactic power. "Sir," Commander Sarah Kim said quietly, "we're receiving coded communications from Earth Fleet Command. They want to know if we're ready for Phase 2 operations." Tom smiled as he thought about the other ships like the Iron Horse that were currently hidden throughout human space waiting for orders. The galaxy had seen one demonstration of human capabilities, but they weren't prepared for what came next. "Tell Earth Command that Phase 1 is complete," he replied. "Humanity is ready to take its proper place among the stars." Over the following weeks, the political structure of the galaxy began to shift. Trade agreements that had favored alien corporations were renegotiated on more equitable terms. Shipping routes that had been closed to human vessels were reopened. Most importantly, humans were suddenly included in high-level diplomatic discussions that had previously excluded them. Some alien governments tried to resist the changes, demanding to know how humans had developed such advanced technology without their knowledge. But when Earth Fleet revealed that they had dozens of ships like the Iron Horse stationed throughout the galaxy, resistance quickly turned to cooperation. The slow human ship had struck with devastating effectiveness, proving that sometimes the greatest victories came not from brute force but from patience, planning, and the element of surprise. Humanity had spent 30 years being underestimated, and they had used every moment of that time to prepare for this transformation. As Tom Wilson looked out at the stars from his position aboard humanity's newest flagship, he knew that the galaxy would never again make the mistake of dismissing human potential. The age of alien dominance was over, and the era of true galactic cooperation had finally begun. The Iron Horse had won more than just a race. It had won humanity's freedom to determine its own destiny among the stars.